Hey guys and girls, White Ninja here, and today I'm bringing you top 5 tips on crops or harvesting or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to start making a new series on a new set of videos based on some tips that I've gathered throughout the game, and tips that I've developed or found out through myself or friends. So I hope you enjoyed this type of video, guys, and let's begin. So the first one is, as you can see on screen, is putting a block underneath sprinklers. Now this can work on any sprinkler, not just the normal ones. Now simply what you do is you take a block such as a flooring tile or something like that, place it underneath, and this way your hoe doesn't actually dig it up when you go to harvest or go to hoe. So if you actually do a full block like this, you can actually do the whole thing without pulling up the sprinkler, which is super useful and super quick. Saves you a lot of time going have to replant these and make sure you put them in the right place and locations. So something really simple. The second tip, guys, is the greenhouse. Now the greenhouse is actually really important for winter. It gives you the opportunity to be able to develop crops throughout the winter, and these are, bar the winter seeds, these are the only ones you can actually create, which means you can actually develop these by doing that. So I would recommend that if you are going to put crops in here, use reusable crops, so things like blueberries and cranberries, to be able to get the most out of the money, because once they're fully developed, every like 4 days or something, I can't remember the exact days, but every few days you'll get about 30,000 harvest just from having this set up inside your greenhouse. Now by having them set up in here, if you don't know how to get this set up so you can actually get the greenhouse, you have to do it through the community center. So to go to the community center and develop, do the criteria that it requires. It's pretty simple. Just follow it, and as you progress, you should be able to get it within, I think, about a year and a half. So it's not too bad. The second one I'm going to go into, guys, is something that's pretty self-explanatory, but it's the scarecrows and the lighting. Now, scarecrows actually stop crows coming in and eating your crops, which is obviously really important, especially early on, because obviously if you start losing crops, you're going to start losing quite a lot of money, especially early. Like now, it's not a massive deal because it doesn't really matter if I lose a bit. I've got more than enough money to keep me going. And the lighting, for the simple fact that once you start getting as many as this, it'll start taking a long time to be able to actually develop and putting your crops down, especially if you have fertilizer on top of this. So by doing this, you're actually able to see what you're doing and make sure you actually put crops in every location. So for tip 4, I'm going to say use reusable crops. Now, reusable crops generate the most money generally, which will be things like cranberries and blueberries, like mentioned before. Now, these are some of the best ones to use, definitely. But of course, make sure that if you are going to do the achievements and things like that, like harvest one of every crop, do buy some of one of every crop to be able to plant, so you can do it in every season. But make sure you go for reusable ones. One, it saves you a lot of time and effort because it can all be done on the first day or two. And after that, it's simply just harvest them when you need, and makes life simple, so you can do other things around your farm and things like that. Well, that needs to be done. So if you've not cleared out your farm, that can be done, and things like that. And the last tip 5, that I'm going to go into is end of season crops. Now, everyone will probably know at this point that at the end of the season, your crops wither away and die. Now, this is bad because that means you have to replant and buy new crops, but it's also good as well because what this does is it leaves your section hoed when the season dies out. By doing this, it means you don't have to redo it, so you can plant faster on the next season round. So I would recommend, if you do have the money, spare bit of money, to make sure that you do actually plant just a poor or low level crop like a parsnip, something that's worth next to nothing, to be able to actually develop, so it keeps the section there just to speed things up. It does mean that you will be able to develop and place down bigger crops in the location, especially when you start going into things like cranberries and blueberries and stuff like that, where you want to get as many down as possible. Well guys, these are my 5 tips on crops and harvesting. Now I hope you've enjoyed this type of video. It's something a little bit different really, more me talking than anything. If you have enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up and comment below on some other series that you might like to see. It could be relationship statuses and how to develop friendships and things like that. But by all means comment below and I'll try and make some videos on them if I can give you the information about that. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you next time for some more Stardew Valley.